So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you the basics of creating your first board and your first job. So to start off with, all we do is we click New Board. You can give this board a name. So this could be anything. You might decide to have a board per client or per campaign. But let's just say we're doing, we're providing some crew to the Tough Mudder event. So I'm going to call it Tough Mudder. Just give it a color just so it's easy to identify in the All Jobs page. And then basically we just pick the day where we need staff or crew. So pick Friday. You'll notice the little plus is now highlighted. So I click that. It creates the job. So we can give this a name. It could be something like, Tough Mudder Hyde Park, just so we can easily, recognize it basically. And then we add the roles we need to this job. So a job consists of different roles, and obviously each role can have a different start and end time, different requirements, different skill sets, different wages, etc. So let's add the first role. These are obviously customizable in the back end under app settings, but let's see we need a lifeguard, for example. So we're looking for lifeguards. They're going to be on an hourly rate as opposed to a fixed rate, and we actually need them from 9. It's going to run all the way through to 5. We're going to pay them an hourly rate of £15. There is a break period of 30 minutes, and that's actually paid. We are going to allow a subsistence, so this automatically gets added to their wages, and that's obviously for food and stuff like that. And then expenses, we're going to actually allow a budget of 15, so for travel. So if they need to get there, they need to park, crew can submit receipts through the app to claim back for this. The number of people required, well, actually we need 3 lifeguards. The role description, where we, typically this is to describe to the crew, that are applying to the lifeguard, what's going to be expected of them in the lifeguard role. We can then decide whether we want to put this on our job board. So in the crew app over here, obviously you can see, the job board, which crew can very easily scroll through and find relevant work. They can also filter, based on, distance from their home address or the specific roles, that only they're interested in. But yeah, I'm going to leave this on the job board for now. And then actually, to a lifeguard, there is actually some requirements to this role. And one of the requirements might be, for example, that they have the RLSS certificate, for example. So I'm going to pop that on there as well. Attributes, this client, again, attributes is customizable in app settings in the back end. But on this particular event, the client has asked us preferred people without visible tattoos. And because it's kind of a multi-international event, they're also looking for crew that can also speak Norwegian as well, funny enough. At this stage as well, you can, add an additional question you want to ask the crew that are applying to this role. So, this might be something simple like, how many years experience as a lifeguard? Could be anything. So I'm just going to pop that, and then obviously when crew are applying to this role, they'll answer that question as well, and then you'll be able to consider them based on that response. So we created our first job and added the first role. I'm going to go ahead and add another role now. So on the same event, we need some. What do we need? We need a first aider, let's say. And actually, we're going to be paying them a fixed fee. So they're going to also work from 9 till 5. Well, actually, let's do it 9 to 4. And actually, for the whole day, we're going to pay £150. Subsistence 0, but expenses, we're going to also provide a £15 expenses budget, and we need 2 of those people. And again, this is the role description, so what's expected of the first aider we're looking for. If you've got that somewhere else, you can just copy and paste it in like I've just done there. There we go. So I'm just, explaining to the crew, and obviously I'm also going to put that one on the job board as well. Requirements, maybe, for example, they do actually need the First Aid Direct certificate. And you may remember from the workforce tutorial, we added tags to crew. So maybe we are actually looking to use people that are a part of our A team. So I'm going to add that as a tag as well. I just click done. Attributes, do you know what? It would be useful if they had their own car as well in this one. Application, I'm not going to ask these guys anything. It's all good. So click done. You see we've created these 2 roles in the job. And just to dissect this a little bit, obviously it's telling you the information here, what the total is for all those 3 lifeguards, will be. This little, when it's highlighted red, it means it's visible on the job board, and obviously the trash can if I wanted to delete roles there as well. So you can continue adding roles to the jobs. There's no limit on that, so feel free to do that. Next stage is actually setting the primary contact. So who in your organization or agency is going to be the contact person for the crew on the day. So when crew obviously are looking at the jobs or considering this primary contact information appears here. So that's that there. And click done, and then we're going to give this a short name. And then actually this is actually Google Maps integrated. So if you just start typing the name of the location, it should pull it up. There we go. And actually what's brilliant about this is you can actually move the pin to where you want the crew to meet. So let's say, well, actually we want them to meet, actually right over here. Then crew will get that in the app under the directions tab, so they'll be led exactly to that point. So that's pretty handy. That point also is used for the check-in, so just remember that. Crew have to be within 500 meters of that point to be able to check in. Job ad. So when you're putting it on the job board, we do kind of recommend also including, a bit of a blurb about what the whole event is or the campaign. This isn't the role description. This is about, what is the Tough Mudder? Just getting crew excited and wanting to apply. And then, as an addition, it's always good to kind of like add a really cool image. So, people know kind of in an instant when they're scrolling through that job board, something's going to catch their eye basically and tell them what the job's about. So I'm going to add an image there, and post approval information. This is the information that crew that actually get booked and confirmed on the job. They see this here. So it might be something as simple. Remember, waterproof clothes, something like that. That can be anything you want. And click done. Labels, this is really handy if, for example, you want the system to remember which crew previously worked on this job, and maybe for a specific client. So I'm actually going to put Tough Mudder in there as well. Just remember to press enter or return, so it kind of like stores it. And basically what this will mean is any crew that are booked on this, they're also going to be labeled with Tough Mudder. So in the future, if Tough Mudder came back to you and say, hey, we want to use the same crew again, you could actually use that label as a requirement on the role. And then Liveforce is going to show you who's previously worked for Tough Mudder. If for whatever reason you need to give, it's a project ID, so you can easily filter in the pay section or in the reports, just to be able to see exactly how much you've used on a specific project ID. You can also add one in there. So there we go, we've created the first job. You'll notice it's currently in the unsaved status. So all I'm going to do is actually go ahead and publish that. What that means is it will now actually publish that to the job board, if we've chosen that option, and crew can now start to go in and apply to that role. So once the job's live on the job board, crew can then obviously scroll through the job board. As you see here, it's very visual if you're using images in the job ad. There we go, there's Tough Mudder in Hyde Park. I can see as a crew member how far I am. I'm 2.1 kilometers from this job. Nice image, kind of really explains to me what the job's about. And then we've got the two different roles. We've got the lifeguard role, got the first aider role, we've got the wages, how many people you're looking for, and whether myself as a crew member matches the requirements. You might remember that was kind of like the first aid certificate, whether I speak Norwegian, all that sort of stuff. So then, crew basically, they click in on the role they're interested in. Again, they've got more detailed information here. They've got the contact information to the primary contact. They've got the salary breakdown, the job ad that you've added in the job, and then the list of requirements there. The red rosette means, basically, validation is required. So if crew have that skill, they have to upload a document to support that. And as you can see here, that question we asked, how many years experience. I'm going to say, 5 years, multiple rescues, something like that. Just to really make myself stand out as a crew member. And then with one click, I can apply. Again, it's going to warn crew, you don't have the requirements, so the likelihood of you getting picked is a little bit less, but, it's not going to block them anyway. Cool. So that's the basics of creating, your first job with some different roles and getting it out on the job board. Do watch the other sessions where we kind of take a deeper dive into how we copy and paste jobs, how we can organize jobs on a board into sets and groups. And but in the meantime, any questions, just contact us through support. Thank you.